Lewis Moody can sometimes be hot-headed. He's certainly very, very strong and not afraid of confrontation. We understand, though, that Nili Latu may have a hamstring injury, which has actually prevented him from doing a huge amount of training this week. So that could be a factor as well. What an atmosphere we've got here in Parc des Princes. You would think this was the World Cup final.
Well, it is for England.
Well, certainly this is Tonga's World Cup final, there's no doubt about that. And in the crowd we've got a sea of white, many, many red shirts dotted around in recognition of Tonga and England as we just pause for the national anthems. But certainly the England players there looking relaxed. Martin Corey just pulling his team together. It's all or nothing tonight for Brian Ashton and England. If they lose, rugby history, and there's one of the all-time greats, Jonah Lomu, who's come here to watch his brothers take on the might of the defending world champions. There is the lineup for Tonga, and certainly one or two players to look out for. Of course, the captain, Nili Latu, playing at 7. Next to him, Haletipoli at number 6, back in after one match suspension. That was against Samoa. And certainly Sione Tuipulotu there at scrum half, partnering Pierre Hola, Tonga's leading scorer so far in the tournament with 34 points. But look at this. The war chant, first of all, from Tonga, and England are certainly so close to them. Certainly Andrew Sheridan, George Sugar and Matt Stevens weren't impressed with that, were they?
Well, a bit of theatre to start things off this evening.
Just have a look, David, at the England lineup there. No change apart from 2 against for the team that took the park against Samoa. Steve Borthwick comes in at number 4 for Simon Shaw. Lewis Moody is there at 7. He comes in for Joe Worsley. Although Joe Worsley, of course, is sitting on the bench. But once again, Johnny Wilkinson will be the centre of attention, not least by the Tongan back row. What a moment for both teams. Mr. Alan Rowland of Ireland takes charge of this game. A huge amount of responsibility for a very, very experienced referee. He'll be assisted by Craig Joubert from South Africa and Christophe Berdos from France. Television official is Mr. Mark Lawrence. Here we go. Tonga kicking off against the world champions. World champions for the time being, that is. And that is, of course, England. And immediately their captain, Martin Corrie, takes the ball into the safety of the hands of Johnny Wilkinson. That goes way, way down beyond the halfway line.
Well, it's interesting. I think England were lucky not to be penalised there. They clearly had two players in front of the catcher there, and there's no way Nili Latu got anywhere near him. You know, it's fine to be a lazy runner and to sort of do it incidentally, but it's very deliberate. I was surprised Roland didn't pick that up, to be honest.
So Aleki Latui, the Worcester Warriors hooker, playing for Tonga, throws it in. And just misses out. Nili Latu, though, the captain, tackled by Lewis Moody. So first head-to-head confrontation for the two number 7s. Pierre Hola and Apeli Taioni is such a strong runner, the Tongan centre. Good pick up there by the Tongan scrum half, but it was turned over by England. Almost a sense that that was forward. Mark Cueto just pushing it forward, spun away there. Oh my goodness. And Lewis Moody then crashing against the legs of Vangakoto Lilo. Now, is this a problem for Lewis Moody?
Well, he's very still on the ground. It's sort of very unfortunate situation with Munga, the United States. Well, oh dear. Perfectly innocent. You know, he just followed through and I think caught him on the side of the head with a knee. But he looks in a bit of a state there, Lewis Moody.
The runner was coming from the... I beg your pardon?
Certainly does.
The runner was coming from outside? Yes.
Tongan fullback is down as well, but Lewis Moody, he's been in a few scrapes in his rugby career as the Leicester flanker. But shaken perhaps, but not stirred at the moment.
Well, interesting. Nili Latu's having a big discussion with Alan Rowland about the way that Johnny Wilkinson came from an offside position to steal that ball, as we see Lewis Moody catch his head again, saying it was okay to come from our side and intercept that pass, was it? Mr. Rowland saying it's 50-50.
A huge cheer goes up around the Parc des Princes for Lewis Moody, who's back on his feet. They'll have to come back to the first line-out throw for George Shooter, another Leicester Tigers player. That was well taken by Steve Borthwick. Of course, has come in for Simon Shaw. A lot of people have been a bit amazed that Simon Shaw was not left in the team. He certainly had a good World Cup. Lewis Moody trying to wrestle the ball away. Is deep in there. And it's England who are penalised for the first time in this game.
Well, terrific driving by Tonga, and really, you have to say, a little bit untidy by England. They really should have made more of that. They had a good catch, good drive, and then it started to fragment.
Just get them through the middle.
Actually penalised by handling in the ruck. I think Mr. Rowland's going to have to start laying down the law a bit at these contact areas, both sides. You could see from even before the whistle was blown, when the war dance was taking place, both sides recognised the importance of this. Just a little bit untidy there, and Tonga come through the middle.
Well, let's just re-emphasise to everybody, whoever wins this game stays in the World Cup. Whoever loses it is on the plane home. It's so important to both teams to win this one. Free kick given to Tonga. They take it quickly. Away goes the hooker. Aleki Latui lays it back well. And here's the big man, Fino Maka. So strong, taking on virtually the whole of the England back row. That guy's not particularly small. Oh, that was good from he was not Steve Borthwick, Ben Kay, who came through very quickly on there, but Tonga still have possession. Just halfway between the 22 and England's goal line. Just waiting. Penalty to England.
Well, that was unfortunate for Tonga. They were in a good position there, and I think they might have been just trying to set them all up so they could let Pierre Hola have a crack at a drop kick there, but well defended by England. Great piece of pirating there by Ben Kay, who came through the middle.
So left-footed, Wilkinson up towards the halfway line. Coming up to the 4-minute mark as Swing Low, Sweet Chariot's your favourite song. David starts in the crowd again, a little bit early I would have thought, but certainly a great atmosphere here. So liner, George Shooter for England. Goes towards the back. Well taken by the captain, Martin Corey. Good drive on there from the big prop forward, Matt Stevens. He certainly is a huge, huge man. Wilkinson pops one up. And that's for Matthew Tate. And Ollie Barkley to go for, although two relatively small men in terms of height. But
12 behind the ball, 12.
But neither really challenged for that ball. You know, the Tuifua was just left to catch, and he didn't have to jump for it. England really should have contested it more.
Mark Cueto for England. Left-footed. Now, can he challenge this time? Good tackle, and that was on Viliami Vaki, who, of course, has gone from the back row to lock forward as a result of Haile Tupoli coming back in the side for Tonga. Certainly the England defence just lying in wait. Tonga just taking their time. Tuipulotu back to Pierre Hola, who has a little bit of difficulty taking that one on his left foot.
Well, he's a very left-footed player, Pierre Hola, and I'm sure England will look to try and expose that later on. Good take by Vaki there.
I know, but just be conscious.
Maybe just a little bit lucky. Still in the air, I think, possibly when he was challenged, but some of those 50-50 decisions not going Tonga's way, actually, in some respect.
Well, Martin Corey, as we just see Ollie Barkley there. Martin Corey, I was going to say, has moved to the front, but that was well out there to Matthew Tate. Takes it over the halfway line. Just get the sense that Matthew Tate needs space to express his speed and agility in. He hasn't had that so far in the World Cup. Tonga, though, coming away. Lilo darts back inside, but that was a good tackle by Wilkinson. Once again picked up by Aleki Latui.
Oh, good play by Tonga there. And just again, a little bit untidy by England. They didn't control the ball at the breakdown. And I'm surprised. I mean, they put ball off the top of the line. I think if I were England, I'd want to try and tie up this Tongan back row and bite with, you know, good catch and drives and wear them down up front and sort of be slightly attritional in the first 20 minutes of this match.
That was taken right in the middle of the line once again by Ben Kay. And this is better by England. George Shooter it is, with the ball tucked underneath his left arm, just having a look one side or the other. Andy Gamasaw pops one up. The fullback is right underneath it. Well taken by Lilo. Good tackle by Wilkinson once more. And certainly one of the features of Johnny Wilkinson's play is that he does go hard for tackles. Sometimes fly halves are accused of just avoiding the tackle a bit, but look at that.
Yeah, well, I think Neely Latu again having a word with Roland, because look at Lewis Moody. He just lies on the ball there. And, well, he's pretty good at slowing the ball down. So both captains trying to influence the referee, as any good captain does.
I asked you to respect the pause. No
Mr. Roland there just having a talk with both front rows.
Touch.
6 very, very big, strong men. Tuipulotu there. The Tongan scrum half normally plays it fullback. I'm surprised to see him with the number 9 shirt on today. Picked up by Fino Maka, but immediately pounced on by Andy Gamasaw.
9 behind the ball.
So that was not a good pass there to Pierre Hola. Had a little bit of space though. Tuifua brought to the ground. A little bit scrappy from Tonga at the moment, and that's gone across field. And Mark Cueto is right underneath it. Just looks for a bit of support, which he hasn't got at the moment. Josh Lucy was coming across quickly and hanging onto the ball in the tackle. That is such a fundamental mistake you must not make in your own half.
Well, his forwards won't thank him for that. They had quite a good position, 10 or 15 yards ahead. Well, there he goes. And he's just, well, I think he's trying to force it through his legs, but well,
a chance for Pierre Holla, plays for Kobe Steel Club in Japan. 28th cap today for Tonga. And I was reading one statistic about this chap. He just came within 1 point of breaking the world record for an international game when he kicked 44 points against South Korea in a warm-up match for the World Cup a little while ago. I think it's Andrew Mertens of New Zealand who's got the outright world record at 45. But more importantly now, Pierre Holla has got a chance to put his team ahead against England. Sweet left foot he's got. He's driven that one low, and that goes straight through the post. And can you believe it? Tonga in the lead.
well, you have to say they deserve their three-point lead at the moment. They've dominated territory. They've had 3/4 of the time in the England half. And England, you know, once again, they haven't been able to control and dictate terms, which is surprising. You know, as I say, I think they should be playing with their big forwards. They should be playing a much more forward-dominated game. And when they are putting kicks up, they're not challenging enough.
Wilkinson hoists one down towards the 22, taken by Nililatu, the Tongan captain. Just standing at the back there's Viliami Vaki with the blue scrum cap on, just has a look to see where Mr. Rowland is. Goes back this time to Pierre Holla. That is not going to make touch, so it gives Josh Lucy a chance to attack. The England fullback so often on the wing as well. Back inside to Mark Cueto. This time the three-quarters get a chance to run. Ollie Barkley. Now, can England get possession from here? They've got players on both sides of that ruck and maul. Well laid back by Martin Corey. Good quick hands there by Andy Gummersall. Little chip forward by Ollie Barkley, but straight into the arms of Sione Tuipulotu there, who made the mark.
Well, it was looking good there. It was a good drive through the middle by Corey after an aimless kick by Pierre Holla. It was going nowhere. And Corey just got in behind them, and then not a good kick by Ollie Barkley. I understand the intent. He was going for the corners, and I think that's the right thing to do. Pin Tonga back, put the pressure on them.
That just goes over the 10-metre line, Tonga's own 10-metre line. So a chance for England now at the line out.
I think the interesting thing, Paul, is if Tonga are in touch with 20-25 minutes left of this game, they're going to believe in themselves. I think England have really got to try and start racking up a few points.
That was Ben Kay. George Shooter joins it again, just puts his left arm in there to tuck the ball under his arm. This has become a feature of the hooker's play. Andy Gummersall controlling things from scrum half. Good drive on by England. Now Shooter just finds himself almost isolated there for a minute. Matt Stevens going on. That's suggesting it might be truck and trailer, David.
Well, I thought George Shooter broke from that ruck and then went back into it.
Paul Saki gets his first taste of the action, taking play into the 22, and you've got players lined up on this side, but Tonga have stolen it. But the referee has blown his whistle.
Well, he reckons they've stolen it illegally, handling in the ruck there, and well, this is ideal for England. Johnny Wilkinson just in front of the posts.
Please don't kick the ball away again. Thank you.
There you go. He's on his knees. Definitely a penalty there, Tuipulotu.
Well, you can see just what a physical effort all of these players are putting into it. Just while Johnny is lining up this kick, he's the third highest point scorer ever in international rugby, and he could become the second highest point scorer here this evening. He's only 4 points behind Italy's Diego Dominguez on 1,006 points. Leading point scorer of all time, of course, is Wales' Neil Jenkins on 1,090. So Johnny Wilkinson to put England level with Tonga, high and straight.
Well, I think it'd be a real shock if Johnny had missed that one. But just the right sort of comeback. Good catch and drive from a line out, good driving maul. A little bit of momentum through the middle, forcing Tonga to concede the penalty.
Pierre Hola, two left-footed fly halves. It's going to be some tussle between those two guys this evening. Hola and Wilkinson, taken by Martin Corey, just as the kickoff was 14 minutes ago. 3 points all, as England just apply a little bit of pressure here on Tonga. And Gamasol just shouting and screaming at Wilkinson to get in the right position, right back in the box, but Gamasol takes it himself. Mark Cueto is up there, and that is picked up by England, and Ollie Barkley. Finamaka was back there very, very quickly, and you said that straight away, David. Obviously out of shot, but it was so obvious.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a fantastic break. I wasn't sure whether Cueto knocked it on from the high kick by Gomerson, which is a great kick. But definitely Ollie Barkley holding on there. Fantastic break. And I think the problem was he just caught everyone by surprise. And no support up there.
So England lose that advantage. They have to come back. Take a look at this again.
Now that's more like it. That's a better challenge by Cueto. And you see Ollie Barkley, he's so far ahead of his support. 2-3 Tongan players in there. And just England fractionally late.
So chance for Tonga at the line-out. Certainly England have had the best of the line-out so far. Aleki Latui throwing in. Good challenge by Ben Kay and Steve Borthwick. But Tonga come away with it. Pierre Hola looking for support, gets it. Nili Latu, the captain. He's so mobile, so strong as well. Just looking on both sides, which way they're going to go. There's Apele Taioni once more. Good pick-up, good drive forward by the winger, Joseph Vaka. Nili Latu, the Tongan back row forward, is all over the park at the moment. He's involved in just about every move that Tonga have. Almost on England's 22, and they will get the put in at the scrummage.
Well, England very able to slow that down, which is just what they needed to do. There's a great wee run through the middle there by Vaka. But you're right, I mean, for me, there's some great open sides in this World Cup. Richie McCaw has to be #1, but this fella, Nili Latu, he's been absolutely outstanding for Tonga in virtually every game that he's played. And for me, you know, just one of the star players and one to watch.
We just hope that he lasts the course here tonight, because he has had a hamstring problem. And there he goes again.
And it was a poor attempted tackle by Ollie Barkley there. He was just brushed aside.
Actually, just while we're watching this again, I was mentioning Johnny Wilkinson's ability to go second highest of all time in Test rugby. There's a possibility he could become the highest scorer in World Cup history. And of course, you know who is the highest scorer, don't you, David?
That's big Gavin Hastings.
Johnny Wilkinson 21 points short of Gavin's total before this game. Meanwhile, Tonga, Finamaka there, quick to pick the ball up. He was certainly being challenged by back row forward Lewis Moody. And Finamaka himself feeds it out. Once again, it goes to Apele Taioni. This guy is so strong. And look at this. Hufanga's going to score. No, he's not. He slides over. That is a try for Tonga. Oh, my goodness. It was a very good tackle indeed, but his momentum carried him forward over the line. And it is take-off time for Tonga.
Well, you have to say it was woeful English defence. I mean, the midfield defence was posted absent as they came through there. It just brushed aside the tackles. And it really came out of nothing. There's a little show of the ball. There's one tackle, two tackle, and the inside ball, little step. Well, dear me. And because of the rain, there's no question, there's the slide there was no question of a double movement.
So strong. Both the number 12 and 13, Apele Taioni, and eventually Hufanga, who gets that historic try.
Well, what's this going to do for Tonga? But more importantly, what's it going to do for England? The English confidence must have been fragile coming into this match. And, you know, they're staring down the barrel of a 10-3 deficit 20 minutes into the game.
So Pierre Hola wants to maintain his 100% record. Just a little chip over the bar. Well, can you believe it? I just wonder, David, as far as the Tongans are concerned, they do seem to have improved both in their technique, but most importantly in their confidence throughout this World Cup. And it doesn't really matter what we think about their prospects of winning this game. The most important thing is, do they believe they can win?
Absolutely. Belief and momentum. We talked about it before the game kicked off.
What a scoreline we've got here at Parc des Princes. England straight away on the attack. Little floated pass there from Matthew Tate to Ollie Barkley. England on the charge again. Matt Stevens that time for England. Johnny Wilkinson shouting and screaming for the ball, but Gummersel is under pressure there. And that was from Apeletaoni. But England have a penalty.
Well, I think they'll go for goal. Tonga just need to be a little bit cautious about the discipline there. They can't. One thing they can't afford to do is have someone sent to the sin bin. But it's the ideal comeback by England. Knock over another 3 points.
Oh. Well, look at this, Paul Saki. Was that a try? If it was most surprising, and a huge bit of enterprise by Johnny Wilkinson. The referee just consulting the touch judge, and that caught the Tonga defence absolutely flat-footed. But is it a try or isn't it?
Well, brilliant by Wilkinson. There was I saying knock over another 3 points. He's going to go for 7. Did Paul Saki catch it and ground it?
Ooh. Well, of course, the stadium here can see on those giant scoreboards the fact that he did touch it down, but was it in play?
Well, that's a good question. If he is out of play, if he is touching the white line, then the ball's out of play, in which case it should be a 25.
Even a 22.
I don't work in metric.
No, either do I.
He definitely grounds it.
It was a good bit of skill by the Wasps winger, wasn't it? And well, it looks as though it's just inside the line.
Well, I don't know. His elbow's on the line.
I can award the try.
Wow.
Thank you.
There you go.
It's a try. And I think you can tell from Paul Saki's body language that he is absolutely over the moon and so pumped up for this. So, as soon as that try was scored by Tonga, England have struck back.
And that's exactly what they needed to do. Strike back quickly. And if Johnny Wilkinson can slot this, that'll do their confidence the world of good.
So another chance for one of the most prolific point scorers in rugby history, Johnny Wilkinson. Distance will not be a problem. He's pushed it wide though, and that is a big miss by his standards.
Well, difficult kick, but again, you know, would you take 5 points or 3? I'm sure England will be absolutely delighted with the 5 points there. Brilliant vision by Wilkinson, great play, great take by Saki. Well,
lovely moment for Paul Saki.
I still question whether he was out of play when he grounded that, but there we go. Read the newspapers tomorrow, it's a try.
Martin Corey takes it once again. And certainly you can never accuse Martin Corey of shirking responsibility. Goes to ground. Should come back on England's side. Gummersel. Just looking for Wilkinson, but again, he's done that on a few occasions. Pops one over the top. Well taken by the scrum half Tuipulotu. Gets it away to Fina Maka. Good support. And that man is there again, Nililatu. Pierre Hola misses out one man, but crossing over there.
Yeah, no question about that. It's a little bit unfortunate, but actually, I mean, Tonga playing well. They've got so much confidence. You can see it in their play. There's the crossing. Takes out the tackler. And just a little bit of pressure relieved for England.
Well, this potentially will be good possession for England once again. Drives that ball down, as he does so often wearing the England jersey. Deep into Tongan territory. They're about 10 metres outside of their 22 at the moment. A big figure there of Andrew Sheridan right at the front. There's the captain. Goes towards the back. Now they can drive on. Good driving by Ben Kay and Steve Borthwick. Martin Corrie is stuck in there.
Hands out, Tonga, 3!
Swing Low, Sweet Chariot resounds around Parc des Princes. But there's still a long way to go in this game. That's popped over the top there for Mark Cueto. And Cueto not able to challenge. That was a very good take by Sione Tuipulotu, who often plays fullback, so I'm not surprised he's got that sort of skill.
Well, England using the box kick from Gomasol a great deal, and it's effective, but it's a little bit pluses and minuses. Some of the kicks have just been a little bit too long, but we saw when Cueto was up and able to challenge, they really capitalised on it, so it seems to be working for them.
I just saw a glimpse there of Haile Tipoli, such an effective back row forward for Tonga, but that's taken once again by England's Steve Borthwick. England trying to roll Tonga around and gain ground. It's in the hands of Andrew Sheridan and Lewis Moody right at the back. Moody drives forward. Good support coming from Andrew Sheridan and Steve Borthwick. And away England go. Wilkinson, just a little dummy, brought down by his opposite number, Pierre Hola. Paul Saki, the try scorer, tries to go through the middle. Good tackle coming in from Hufanga. And the Tonga defence just drifting across the park. So there's no way through for England at the moment. Now, what has Matthew Tate got? He goes to the forwards, laid well back. England still have possession. Gomasol goes to that far right-hand side. Oh, Matt Stevens there just tried to spin away, and now England can bring it on this side. George Shooter. Shooter still going.
Yes, I have it, thank you.
Knocks forward, says the referee. So that passage of play comes to an end, and George Shooter, almost for a moment, must have thought he'd got through.
Well, they gave up a 3-on-1 overlap there. The good tackle there by Lilo there. But here's the overlap. You see 3 men out there on Harley T-pole, and there was the sort of the Wilkinson shimmy, which just allowed the defence to drift out. If he'd moved the ball quicker, they'd have been, they would have had to be in with a chance of scoring there.
Now, is that Nililatu who's gone down? And certainly not his hamstring. I just wonder sometimes about this little Wilkinson shimmy. All it seems to succeed in doing is pushing his own men further out to the side to give them less room to work in.
And if you're running a drift defence, then you just drift off. And it's fairly straightforward to defend against. But, I mean, even the early ball, just signs of a little bit of hesitancy in Wilkinson.
Well, Nililatu is back on his feet. A huge cheer from the Tongan supporters here. He really is a talisman, a lucky charm, if you like. The Tongan torpedo, they call him.
Stay up, no ball, no ball, no ball.
Not surprising, I've seen him put in some devastating tackles throughout this tournament.
Up, please, up, please.
Just on the far side there, Sione Tuipulotu.
Okay, there's the mark, crouch.
Now gets the ball in his hands. And front row's ready to go down once more. This has got to be a big shove by England.
Well, they need to be careful they don't push before the ball to come in. The Tonga scrum has held up well, but this is a real test. They're under real pressure here, 5 yards from their own line. 5 metres even.
Engage. Have it in 9.
So, England with the drive. This is going to be hard for Tonga to control it, but Finamaka comes away. What a player he has been for Tonga. A little bit of support there from Haile Tipoli. Scrum half, Tuipulotu down on his back, and Pierre Hola pushes that one up. Deep to Josh Lucy. Lucy's looking for Paul Saki, who's in support. Now England can run it. Ollie Barkley, very, very high. Good challenge once again on the fullback, but well taken once again too.
Oh, just a little bit too far. No real pressure under him there. He had time to take it before Wilkinson's challenge came in.
Oh my goodness, that was a fundamental error there, and the referee is playing advantage. So a chance here for England. In fact, advantage is over. What on earth went wrong there?
Well, I don't know, not sure whether he was ready for the pass or not, but he just took his eye off it and dropped it. Sort of thing you don't really do on a training paddock. Oh, he's just trying to get the ball onto his right foot there.
Oh, we've got the England three-quarters just out of shot there, standing a little bit deeper than normal, with Wilkinson, Barkley, Tate and Saki. The England scrummage there, taking it on Martin Corey's feet. We'll have to come back and do it all over again.
Same scrum.
Well, good scrum by England. They just need to try and keep it straight.
When the pressure comes on,
The English backs very flat in their alignment, and
just keep the pressure, please.
I think they probably expect the forwards to have a bit of a dig at Tonga on the 30-minute mark nearly.
Come closer, too far apart.
And the feet at the back of the line, of course, was belonging to Nick Easter, not Martin Corey. So can Easter do it again? Or will he pick up and drive? All sorts of options here for England. Lily Latu getting very frustrated on that far side. Gummersall tries to go himself. Big hit coming in from Fino Maka. So England still with possibilities here. Martin Corey looking for support. Moody is there, Borthwick is there, Ben Kay is there. And certainly England climbing all over the Tongan defence at the moment. They need quick ball. The ball's coming out far too slowly, you tend to feel. They've got players on both sides. And Johnny Wilkinson, strangely enough, is way out on this side, on the left wing. I'm not quite sure what he's doing there. Ollie Barkley is standing right behind that maul. Here goes Barkley, little chip forward. That should be 3 points, but it's not.
Well, I can't understand why Johnny Wilkinson came out to the left wing position and you know, he wasn't there in the pocket for the drop goal. That's what he does well. You know, wow. That was not a good kick by Barkley. Under a bit of pressure, but he should have slotted that. But why wasn't Wilkinson taking that kick?
Well, Ollie Barkley won't be feeling good about that. And Steve Borthwick with his hands on his heads there. Just coming up towards 29 minutes now. It's still Tonga leading England by 10 points to 8. Now the cries go up for Tonga. That's straight into the arms of Martin Corey, or Nick Easter rather. Easter takes it to ground. It's coming out on this side to Josh Lucy. Lucy tries to dart inside. Kisipulu. So Gummersall just waiting, and big drive there by Andrew Sheridan. Just over the 10-metre line. Kick left-footed. That's into space. And that certainly was superb judgment by Wilkinson, who goes chasing after his own kick to prevent the throw-in.
Well, that's a good kick by Wilkinson. That's what he does well. Slots it back into the Tongan 22, deep into the Tongan 22. And puts the Tongan line out under pressure.
Well, this certainly is a very important throw for Tonga. Aleki Latui made his debut against Fiji back in 2002, did the Tongan hooker. Oh, good challenge by England. The ball goes to ground on the Tongan side. Lililatu is there, so is Fino Maka, but it was knocked forward. So England will have a chance after the put-in. Just over 30 minutes gone. And Tonga are competing all the way with England at the moment.
Yeah, but they need to be secure at the set piece. You know, the line-out was always going to be a struggle with here on the bench, nursing his injury. But
Touch. Pause.
you know, now England in another great position.
Nick Easter just gets his foot to the ball, picks it up this time, goes himself, goes straight into the arms of Halatapoli. Now it gets swung across. Wilkinson misses that one. It goes to Cueto. Lucy is there as well. But Mark Cueto is double-teamed there by the Tongan defence, so there's no way through. Gumasol, not quite sure George Shooter has got the pace to outmaneuver the Tongans, as Nililatu goes piling in there once more for the men in red. But Andy Gumasol is patient. Back to Wilkinson, little drop goal attempt, and that looks good. Well, what Ollie Barkley couldn't do a couple of minutes ago, the England number 10 can do, and he gets the extra 3 points for England.
And that's what he needed to do. They had a sustained period of pressure, and they had to come back with points. How many times have we seen Wilkinson do that for England? He needs to keep on doing that, keep the scoreboard ticking over, keep the pressure on, and it all came from a good diagonal kick by Wilkinson into the corner. Tonga couldn't secure their line-out.
A slight problem there to Pierre Hola. Wilkinson 6 points, England now 11, and in the lead against Tonga. There certainly has been a tough battle so far as Tonga restart. This time it's Mark Cueto, left-footed, just slices it slightly, goes into touch. There's Cueto, plays for the Sale Sharks, of course, same club that Jason Robinson used to play for, but Robinson, unfortunately, looks as though he probably won't take any further part in the World Cup because of that hamstring problem he suffered earlier. He was hoping actually this would be his comeback game, but it wasn't to be. So Tonga have the ball at the line. Nililatu once again is there, just waiting for it to come back as Sione Tuipulotu. Good pick up from Aleki Latui. Now Tonga, Pierre Hola back on his feet. Good tackle on Apele Taioni, but Hufanga, it was, took it on a couple of extra metres. England have stolen it though. That was a good kick this time by Gumasol, and it means that Lilo is really on the back foot. He's going to have to be quick. Paul Saki it was who is charging down that Tongan kick, so England will have the throw-in, and we're inside Tonga's 10-metre line.
And England, this last 10 minutes of the half, they really need to control the possession, control the pace, and that's exactly the right thing for Gumasol to do. Again, Taioni was just a little bit flat on that pass, couldn't control it. Good steal by Wilkinson, of course, his former Newcastle teammate.
That was a good tackle there on Tuipulotu, but this guy can really motor, Joseph Vaca. So that was the first line-out, I think, that England had actually lost, and not a particularly good bit of handling there by the English players. And somebody took a clout on the head. Lewis Moody, once again.
The ball hit me, England ball. Hit me, it's an England ball.
Well, his teammates sometimes wonder whether there's anything inside there, but he puts his body in places where a lot of people wouldn't.
Here we are, here's the mark.
Tremendously committed.
He took a real clout, didn't he, right at the beginning of the game when Fungakoto Lilo belted him on the head with a knee after clearance by the Tongan fullback. Nick Easter it was with the ball there in his hands, and England have got a penalty.
Well, I expect Corrie will call for Wilkinson. Keep that scoreboard ticking over.
Yes.
Stretch the lead.
Wilkinson, just recently, another 3 points closer to this world record, or Rugby World Cup record score of Gavin Hastings. Just to let aficionados know, Gavin Hastings' Rugby World Cup record over the years, 227 points, and before this game, Wilkinson was 21 points short, so it's not out of the question we could see a new Rugby World Cup record here this evening. What do you think? Can he do it?
Well, it all depends on whether Tonga hang on for these final few minutes of the first half. I think if Wilkinson does continue to stretch the lead, then you think Tonga might just fragment in the final quarter. But they're working very hard at the moment.
So Johnny Wilkinson aims to stretch England's lead to 4 points. He's pushed it, but it scrapes inside that left-hand post as a huge cheer goes up around the Parc des France, and now England are leading by 14 points to 10. Just gives us a chance to catch up with Robbie Knock down on the touchline. Great atmosphere here, but any movement amongst the replacements before half-time?
Well, Paul, I don't think there'll be any direct changes just yet. We'll wait until the second half for that, but they're keeping themselves warm, of course, because it's a bit of a frisky night, but we'll expect changes in the second half, Paul. But the fans are motivated, and they're getting a good they're getting their money's worth for this match so far. 14-10 for England.
I think we've all got the best seat in the house, haven't we?
It's not too bad, is it?
Cheers, Robbie. We'll talk to you a little bit later on. Meanwhile, Tonga inside England's 22. They haven't been there too often during this half. A good little run, though. Once again, it's that man, Hufanga, who scored Tonga's try earlier on in this half. And he really, really is elusive. Good, strong runner, being well supported by a Pelitaiani, who knows a lot of these England players very, very well indeed. So right in front of the post now. Yeah, hold on, just looking for him, just to see whether he's going to hang back and have a shot at goal himself. But Tonga just lined up, or the forwards, was shielding that ball from Pierre Hola, but once again it was dropped. Near goes Paul Saki. Can Paul Saki get away from England? Yes, he can. A dramatic last-minute try for England. Paul Saki's second. He really has stolen the march on the Tongans there, because that will make a big, big difference going into half-time. What a good try by Paul Saki.
Well, you just sense that the momentum is beginning to shift England's way. The forwards have done a good job, and actually that time it was just poor handling, poor passing by Tonga. They dummied the little setup, and then, well, it was a poor there, and Vaka couldn't take it off his bootlaces, and Paul Saki, no one's going to catch him with a 10-metre start. Well finished.
Well, certainly, if there was any doubt at all about his first try, there was no doubt at all about that one. The Wasp Flyer does it again for England. And that is certainly a more healthy scoreline for the world champions than it was at the beginning of this second half of the first period of 40 minutes. Wilkinson, big left-footed kick. And certainly the touch judges there looked at each other, but the flag stayed down, so no addition to the score. But that certainly has made a big difference, David.
Well, it has. It was just untidy by Tonga, just slight greasy surface. May have made it difficult to take, but it wasn't a great pass, which is a shame, because they were beginning to get a little bit of pressure on England, and the English midfield defence still not looking particularly secure in my view.
So Tonga restarting, and certainly that try by Paul Saki has shown what potential he has got. He rose up through the ranks of the under-21s and the England Sevens team, as Pierre Hola just pushes Johnny Wilkinson away. Back inside now to Hufanga. You just get the impression, as Finamaka goes on a bit of a charge there, that they're going to pull out all the big stops now to try and score before half-time. Haletipoli onto the captain, Nililatu. But England could well come away with this one. Just hunting for the ball there. Gummersil looks back to Josh Lucy. Just takes it himself. He's obviously had a word with the referee. And so the referee has blown for half-time. And certainly it was Tonga that started off quickest. But at the end of the first half, England are leading by 19 points to 10.
Experience the unbeatable motion flow 100 Hz technology.
Charge, can he challenge? No, he can't. That was brilliantly taken there by Hufanga, who of course scored a try for Tonga in the first half. So that kick didn't really come off for Wilkinson. Pierre Hola, both underneath that one, goes to the captain. Good tackle from Nililatu, one captain on another. That goes to Barkley. Barkley punts it across field. It's going deep. Lilo, though, for Tonga. A little slip when he kicked that one. Won't be pleased with that, but takes play almost up to the halfway line.
Well, no question what England's tactics are going to be in this second half. Drill it into the corners and attack from deep. Again, force the penalty, put Tonga under pressure. Johnny Wilkinson, Ollie Barkley, a drop goal. Particularly now that it's got very wet. Had a big downpour. The rain's still on here at Paris.
I'll just have a look at Ben Kay and Steve Borthwick there. It goes to Borthwick. England driving on, and this is where Tonga will find it very, very tough indeed. And this really, David, is England's bread and butter, isn't it, in this sort of situation? Oh, big tackle by Nililatu, my goodness.
He just came in and, I mean, I have to say, he read it brilliantly. And he just wrapped up. I think it was Josh Lucy coming. No, what was it? Was it Wilkinson?
Paul, I think that was rather high, in fact, and that's why Rowlands decided to blow up. So he actually came into him and just like sort of got right around his neck. If you actually, we'll have a look at the replay now.
Well, it's Lewis Moody again. Oh my goodness, he just wrapped him up, and the boos are going around here. Lewis Moody knew it was coming, didn't he? It was almost like being hit by a train.
Well, it was telegraphed. And Latu read it well, but it was high, there's no question about that.
Well, certainly Mr. Rowland is going straight across to the Tongan captain.
It was high, I need them lower.
And,
okay,
that was,
please,
of course,
yeah, you just keep them down. It's only a penalty, but it may not just be a penalty the next time.
On this side, who I don't really think was in a position to see what had happened, but Nililatu is still on the park. Lewis Moody is still on the ground. Take a look at this again, my goodness.
But what you don't see is Latu read it, and he built up a head of steam to come into that tackle. And, you know, poor Lewis Moody, well, he's a fantastic competitor and always incredibly committed, but, you know, he definitely came off second best that time.
I think by the end of this game, he will need a new nose, because he's been belted by the fullback, Lilo, with his knee. And that's just Lewis Moody, that's Joe Worsley just getting warmed up on the sidelines there, just to be on the safe side. But I think he's putting his tracksuit back on now. Lewis Moody's back on his feet, and penalty has been given. So chance for Wilkinson to stretch the lead even further. Not a good percentage for Wilkinson. I have to say, he's normally so accurate, but the conditions, of course, not at all good here. The worst they have, in fact, been for the whole of this game. But this is pretty much straight in front of the post for the England number 10. Big thump with the left foot. It's not curling round far enough, though. And that is miss number 3. That's almost unheard of.
Well, he's missed a couple, albeit very difficult conversions from right out on the right-hand touchline. But it's a shame for England that they weren't able to capitalise on that penalty, because just stretch that lead. 9 points at the moment, would have been 12. And the momentum again, they scored just before half-time. If they could have come out and scored 3 points just after half-time, they'll feel a lot more comfortable about the situation.
Nick Easter picks up. Not quite sure what he was aiming to do there, but it certainly fooled Nililatu. Gemersel. Long back to Wilkinson. Wilkinson once again aiming for that corner, but taken by the fullback, Lilo. And that is out into touch, so we have a line out.
Well, they won't mind too much about that. England have got the throw-in. It's on the 10-metre line. Another bizarre attempt at the chip by Nick Easter. I don't like to see big, heavy back row or second row forwards trying to chip the ball. We saw Ben Kay try and put a chip in, and just disastrous in the South Africa match. Stick to the knitting.
Good take, right in the middle of the line there by Ben Kay. This is better from Matthew Tate. Matthew Tate breaks through, needs support though. Finamaka it is, the giant number 8 for Tonga, who brings him down. Halitapoli certainly venting his spleen, I think is the right way of putting it. The Tongan flanker. That certainly was the best that we've seen of Matthew Tate so far in this game. Gummesel just waiting. Certainly not quick ball by England, but pushed across. It's just right in front of the post now. Contested by Ollie Barkley, but wrapped up eventually by Efitayoni. Can England turn this over? Or will Tonga get possession? Tonga have it. Not a good pass, goes to Nililatu. Sorry, to the prop forward. Tonga. England players stretched right across the pitch here, ready to pounce on any mistake. Tuipulotu, back to Pierre Hola. And Paul Saki certainly looking for the ball there, but goes way over the advertising hoardings. Good kick by the outside half.
Yeah, but it was a good up and under by Johnny Wilkinson in the second. Absolutely the right thing to do. Stick it up in the air. But this is the first time we've really seen Matthew Tate have a chance to stretch his legs, actually creating a little bit of space, a little bit of a gap on the outside.
Well, rather like Paul Saki, Matthew Tate learned his trade in the 7-a-side circuit. There is Taufa'aso Felisa as Tonga comes off. And Felisa plays for Cardiff Blues, in fact. And this is his Rugby World Cup debut, so a big moment for the number 17. I'm not quite sure what was going on there, but neither did the Tongans, and England were a bit bemused as well. But Paul Saki can't go anywhere. Wrapped up by the substitute, Felisa. England trying to settle. Wilkinson coming flat. He's seen that Tonga have got it. Tuipulotu kicks it himself, and that's gone over Gummesel's head. And Gummesel just managed to keep it in, looking for support, but Andy Gummesel takes it himself, and that in the end is quite a poor kick.
Well, Steve Thompson in the crowd there, World Cup winner himself. This is about the first time Tonga have had a good attacking position for some time. The question is, can they make the most of it?
The substitute there, Felisa standing at the front, Halitapoli standing at number 3, shouting instructions, and the two mobile back row forwards, Latu and Finamaka right at the back. Good challenge by the English jumper, but taken on by Kisipulu.
It's a knock-on.
Big prop forward for Tonga. Then the hooker has a go. Maleki Latui. And Tonga at the moment insisting on keeping it tight. Finamaka picks up.
Hands out, 6, hands out.
Good drive though by the English forwards, led by Matt Stevens.
That's a rock on.
And Tonga still have possession. That was better by Fa'aoso. Now a little chip over the top by Tuipulotu. Gummesel gets it, but he's brought down by Pierre Hola. And they'll have to come back for a 5-minute scrum.
Well, great chasing there and harrying by Harley Tipo. Went right the way through to put pressure on Gummesel there, forced him to carry over. Lovely little chip over the top there. Josh Lucy was trying to be the blocker for that kick, and well, now we've got another great attacking position for Tonga. Can England get the squeeze on?
Well, you just get the feeling they've got to get the squeeze on here. The whole of Parc des Princes, well, not the whole of the Parc des Princes, but a large majority of it shouting for Tonga. Finamaka just let it go between his legs. Good work though by the English back row. Lewis Moody takes it up to the 22. Gumasol chips over the top, looking for Martin Corey, but the England captain there has to let the ball go out into touch. Paul Saki, it's a shame he couldn't have got his hands on it, otherwise it'd have been away.
Well, it was a shame that Tonga didn't make more of that. Just little, it went back into the scrum, and that put all sorts of pressure on Tuipulotu at the base.
There's the scary face, I have to say, of Finamaka. It's as though another substitute is coming on for Tonga. It's certainly a problem, actually.
I think it's a blood replacement, actually.
Yeah, it's Felice, the earlier substitute, who's had to come off, and so Tonga has come back on. Had his tracksuit on and everything, thinking his game had finished. Meanwhile, England. Little mini break there, but here comes that rolling white wave of England shirts, and that is charged down by Gumasol. He hasn't done too much right in this half so far. The England scrum half. Wilkinson trying to go up, but that's picked up by Taione. Swung way out on the far side, so now Tonga having a chance through Tuifur, but they'll have to come back into the midfield. The players on the far side there, including myself, hadn't heard the whistle.
Well, it's interesting. Tonga have taken a very different approach to defending the lineouts in this second half. They're not competing, they're standing back, which is actually preventing England from putting this driving maul. As soon as they put someone in to contest the lineout, then England can drive it forward. So if they stand back and they allow England to catch it and form the ruck, they can't do the driving maul. I've seen it before in other situations when I think it's the All Blacks had a very powerful driving line-out.
Oh, still the substitute receiving attention on the touchline for his bloody nose. Meanwhile, Finamaka is caught in possession. To Pilotu, onto Pierre Hola, trying to find his winger, Joseph Vaca. So Tonga making quite a big error there.
Well, it wasn't a good pass by Pierre Hola. He just gave it a lash, and there's no way Vaca was going to take that.
I still think Joseph Vaca plays for the best-sounding rugby club in the world, the World Fighting Bulls in Japan, playing the Japanese league. Gumasol for England, just swings around a little bit there, picked up by Nick Easter. Oh, well, hanging on to the ball presumably, and he's saying the culprit there is the England number 8, Nick Easter.
Coming in at the side there, but great piece of harrying of Gumasol by Tuipulotu. Put a great tackle in about 2 or 3 yards behind the scrum, and his, as a tight forward, I know his tight forwards won't be happy with the fact that the breakdown's taken place 2 or 3 yards behind where the set piece stood.
Well, it looks as though Andy Farrell is about to come on. Robbie, have you got some news for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Andy Farrell just walking straight onto the pitch, replacing Ollie Barkley. So there's going to be a change in position, I do believe, because he's going to be... I know he's in centre, straight direct replacement.
Well, I'm not surprised by that at all. I think the midfield defence has been poor by England. I think what Andy Farrell will do to the midfield defence will bring a lot more physical presence to it.
He's in the line out, he's legal.
So the referee just telling the players what they can and can't do. You hear that quite clearly. Wilkinson kicks, has sliced that one, and that goes way out into touch, so they'll have to come back 5 or 6 metres, and they're still not over the gain line.
Well, that's the first poor kick that Johnny Wilkinson has taken, I think.
Well, certainly the line out will be to the advantage of Aleki Latui and his teammates. Tongan's just having a little discussion there, led by Nililatu, the skipper. There's the big scrum half, Tuipulotu.
Stay!
Good jump by Fa'aoso. Just almost standing above everybody there and lobbing it out to his scrum half. Martin Corey has to go back round to the other side. Now the hooker Aleki Tui. Good little bit of play by the Tongan forwards, but it goes to earth now, and Nick Easter diving head first in there as he spotted the ball, but Tonga still have it. To Pelotu, trying to take a quick one. Away goes the Tongan scrum half.
Hands away!
And certainly that ball seems to be wrapped up. Halatipoli there. Saw that advantage was being played. So Tonga putting England under a considerable amount of pressure here.
Well, they are, but I think it's the right decision to go for the posts. They've got to get a little bit more initiative back. England scored that breakaway try by Paul Saki just before half-time, and ought really to been first back on the scoreboard after half-time. Instead, Pierre Hola has a great opportunity to narrow that deficit to 6 points, and of course 6 points, it's just a converted try.
So this is a very important kick for Pierre Hola. Scored 34 points in the tournament before today out of his 3 games, so very useful player to have on your side. 3 strides, chips it, and that is 3 points for Tonga. So the gap has closed. It's down to 6. The score, England 19, Tonga 13. It's still game on.
Well, Felice's come back onto the pitch now, so obviously his replacement, Tongawi is just walking off.
Thanks, Robbie. And certainly England will feel under a little bit of pressure. Andy Farrell going chasing after that one, along with Lewis Moody. But Farrell catches the taker of that ball as Pelitaioni, so strong, this centre, my goodness. He's put in a lot of great work in the midfield for Tonga.
Play on. 7 away!
And Tonga have certainly come out fighting in this second half.
Stay back!
15 minutes gone in the second half. Only 6 points the difference. Back to Pierre Hola. He comes onto this near side. Paul Saki's waiting underneath it. And that was a good take by the Wasps winger. Very good take indeed, under pressure from his opposite number. And a good pick up here from Josh Lucy. Just goes running across though, doesn't really make any forward momentum. Nick Easter though. And Pinamaka there wrapped up his opposite number. Andrew Sheridan waiting for the ball, but it comes out to the 3/4. Mark Cueto's bursting through, he's got Farrell outside him. Well, why on earth did not Mark Cueto release that ball? But England still have it. George Shooter linking with Nick Easter. Easter out to Matthew Tate. Oh, that is a great score for the Newcastle centre. Matthew Tate gets his first World Cup try. And now things look oh so different for England.
Well, I tell you what, Mark Cueto will be extremely relieved that Matthew Tate scored that try, because it was criminal what he did in terms of cutting outside. Not only did he have Andy Farrell outside him, but outside Andy Farrell was Paul Saki. So, well, they made the most of it in the end. Here we go. I mean, this is what Matthew Tate can do for England. He was running against forwards, there's no question, no one's going to put a finger on him. Tonga a little bit unlucky. Their try scorer Hufanga's down there being treated, I think, for cramp, so obviously wasn't in the defensive alignment, but great score by Matthew Tate, and that's England right back in this game and right back in the driving seat.
Paul, England have just brought on Phil Vickery to replace Matt Stevens.
Thank you very much. The return of the England captain. Wilkinson will not be happy about his missed kicks, but that one was dead centre. And all of a sudden, England have double the number of points of Tonga. I'm really pleased for Matthew Tate. This is what he does all the time for his club. Burst around one player, darted around the next, and that is his first World Cup try. So Matthew Tate's score takes the England total up to 26. Tonga have 13. And all of a sudden things look oh so difficult for Tonga. We've still got this injury And worth pointing out as well that Phil Vickery has come on. And David, I'm sure Phil Vickery would have been very disappointed not to have been picked as a first pick here this evening, but he'd be glad to be on the park to get some time on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, you know, you always want to play as a player.
Well, away goes Matthew Tate again. And that was a move started off by Nick Easter and carried on by Martin Corey. So immediately from the kickoff as the hooker there, Aleki Latui, is tied up by Paul Saki. Wilkinson back inside to Saki. And hasn't Paul Saki had a good game, scoring those 2 tries, of course. And a pick up by the big man, that is Andrew Sheridan, not making too much headway against the Tonga defence. They come on this side. Steve Borthwick being supported by the rest of the forwards. Now England can go. Cueto onto Farrell. Farrell tries to go back inside, but all he did was run into Phil Vickery, which is not a good thing to do.
Okay, let him come straight on.
Well, accidental offside there. Andy Farrell wanting to have a go at Pierre Hola there. But, this is much more dynamic by England now. You just got sense they've got that momentum back. They've got that confidence back. They're moving the ball slicker. Matthew Tate coming into the game.
9, get back.
Things are looking a lot rosier for them.
They certainly are, and certainly the spectators who've made the trip here to Parc des Princes will feel a lot happier about the current
17,
situation.
behind the ball, 17. Stay there.
1 or 2 players emerging for England as excellent players. Josh Lucy, one of the old stayers, now going head to head with Tonga now. Decides to kick that one way up, but it's too deep. And that was well taken by the lock forward for Aoso. So Tonga in possession. Just waiting for that the right time to release that ball. Back to the fullback who just pops that into touch, just around about England's 10-metre line.
Yeah, but England won't worry about that. They've got the throw in at the halfway line. They're dominating the territory. They're dominating possession. They begin to look a little bit more dynamic in what they're doing.
Well, surprising that Viliami Vaki, who's of course playing for Perpignan now, been replaced by Moletika. Another player who's getting his Rugby World Cup here today. There's a good take by one of the men he's got to face, Steve Borthwick.
Well, there you see Tonga again holding off from that England line-out and actually forcing England to concede a scrum.
Crouch. Touch.
So,
Pause. Engage.
Sayone Tuipulotu, former Newport Gwent Dragons fullback, now playing scrum half for Tonga. Certainly is much bigger than Andy Gumasol, and that was a good tackle by Gumasol at the back of the scrummage there. So a little bit of pressure on Tonga at the moment. Advantage being played to England.
Well, England's scrummaging really well. They're just getting a little bit of a nudge up on Andy Sheridan's side, which is making it very difficult for Finau Maka to pick the ball up and to release it or tidy it up for Tuipulotu. Tuipulotu can't go in and get a clear pass away from Pierre Hola. It's great scrummaging by England there, and they've won the put-in.
Touch. Pause. Engage.
So only 18 minutes to go. England with a much bigger lead than they anticipated at half-time. There goes Andy Farrell. Good pass to Josh Lucy. Josh Lucy just drifting across, though, and that meant that Mark Cueto didn't have too much room to move. They're swinging back across this side now. This is one of the big men, Steve Borthwick, trying to blunderbuss his way through the Tongan defence. Comes back out to Wilkinson, who immediately switches it to Farrell. And Farrell certainly seeing plenty of possession since he came on as a substitute. Wilkinson, and well, this guy can motor a bit, Phil Vickery, when he gets the chance, but is immediately closed down.
Hands out, Tonga!
England still have possession, though. Sheridan on another few metres for England. Drive it out wide to Tate, to Farrell. Josh Lucy just cutting inside. Still has got support though. This is better from England. A very good chance for them to attack. They're spinning it out wide. But Fidamaka managed to get a boot to that. Wilkinson picks up. Only to be smothered there by
I know you haven't got it.
So what looked very, very promising rugby from England indeed. They now have to start all over again. Lewis Moody on the wing. Oh my goodness. His head's going to be battered, isn't it? But England still have it. Good tackle by the Tongan defence there. The forwards go piling in. Gumasel is wrapped up by Felice.
Well, I just sense that Tonga are beginning to look very, very tired. I think they've given it absolutely everything in this match. But you just sense that England have got more fitness in themselves. They've got more gas in the tank. And I think they're just going to stretch their lead in the final 15 minutes of this match or so.
Well, one former England captain replacing this evening's England captain, Lawrence Dallaglio. Of course, World Cup winner 4 years ago. Nice little run there by Lewis Moody.
I don't know what it is about these open sides. Neely Latu's certainly got Lewis Moody's number, and he's on him in a flash every time he's got the ball.
Well, that's certainly the reason they call him the Tongan torpedo, isn't it? I know I've mentioned that a couple of times, but well played Martin Corey, captain for the last two England performances, and he'll certainly be hoping that he's seen them through to a place in the quarterfinals. Whoever wins here tonight, of course, will play Australia. Now, a chance for Mark Cueto.
Hands out!
Slid very, very close to the line there. Lawrence Dallaglio gets his first touch of the ball. And it goes loose. Pierre Hola, then knocked on by Tonga.
He was legal, but then you knocked it on.
Well, frustration there again. But Mark Cueto, you know, I don't know whether he's wearing blinkers tonight, but he didn't see two guys outside him again.
I don't know whether we'll get a chance to see that again. But meanwhile, we have another substitution. Takafa, it is, who comes on for Leki Latui. Leki Latui's had a very good game.
Yeah, I think, you know, whatever the final result is, Tonga can hold their heads up high at the end of the match. Now, they've given absolutely everything from start to finish.
No second row.
And they've really pushed England.
Pierre Hola there, just standing with his hands on his hips. Once again, a very important scrummage for both teams, but for both different reasons. Certainly quite a few handling errors for Tonga, and once again, it's that song again. England just holding their ground. Dallaglio doing as he's done so often. Gumasel trying to get in the right position. Now they swing it away to the left. Farrell on a bit of a break now. Andy Farrell's going to score. And that's the first time during this World Cup we've seen a glimpse of what Andy Farrell can really do.
Well, it was well played by the inside centre. Just held the ball up and checked the Tongan defence. Johnny Wilkinson with the runaround just caused him to drift off, and Farrell just turned inside and a scamper home under the post. But a good set-piece scrum. Just he holds up the Tongan defence, and you just see them drift off. Pierre Hola doesn't commit to Farrell. He's looking outside him, and by that time, the big man's over.
Well, this is the simplest kick so far of the game for Johnny Wilkinson.
Yes!
Another 2 points for the man who eventually will become the all-time points record scorer in international rugby. But look at that. Andy Farrell, I don't really think he could believe the gap just opened up for him.
Well, that's right. I mean, Harley T-Pole couldn't hold him there, but even if he had tackled him, I think he would have still had the momentum to go over.
Well, certainly Paul Saki has had a very good game indeed for England. 2 tries. And there is the score. in the 67th minute. England 33, Tonga 20 points behind. Taken by Nick Easter, driven into his own 22. How much have Tonga got left? Or are England going to cruise through to the quarter-final? Gummersall, a little bit high for Wilkinson. That's not going to go into touch. Oh, that was knocked forward though by Havili, a Worcester Warriors player, but made rather a mess of that one.
Well, they'll not want to see that one on the video. But again, England playing the right tactical game, put the ball in the air, put the pressure on Tonga.
I'll just go down to Robbie Knock at the pitch side. Would I be right in assuming that Danny Hipkiss has come on?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's been a couple of changes, actually. You've also got Payno here, Metro Racing lock, who's just come on. I think Hola's come off as well. So, I mean, it's a few changes happening in both sides.
Thanks, Robbie. I just saw a glimpse of Danny Hipkiss there, and Andy Farrell, well, he's certainly got a spring in his step now. Such a great rugby league player. A lot of raised eyebrows when the deal went through, trying to play rugby for England, but if you can score tries like that on a regular basis, certainly is good news for England. Just saw a glimpse there of number 17, Tomi Toki, prop forward. Just pulling down there, so penalty goes to Tonga this time. And you're right, you know, the Tongans are looking quite tired.
Well, they've had an awful lot of tackling to do, and they've been under a lot of pressure. I think England have played a very good tactical game this evening.
That was almost kept in, almost trapped beautifully, like a good soccer player from Mark Cueto. But Lucy just strokes that out into touch, taken very quickly. Halatipoli, a big flank forward there. Tackled by Ben Kay.
Hands out, 17!
And Tonga totally committed to attack, which of course they have to. Swung way across to this side. Epi Taioni. And Havili there, just being bundled out into touch by Danny Hipkiss.
The last 10 minutes of this match just knocked on there in the tackle by Johnny Wilkinson. Last 10 minutes of the match going to be very telling for Tonga on the legs.
Just the front row going down there, so they'll have to do that all over again.
Please. They're straight and it's credible, okay? Here we are.
Halatipoli on that far side with the dreadlocks.
Crouch, touch, pause, engage.
We haven't seen the individual pack weights here this evening. It'll be quite interesting to see that. One suspects England are much heavier, but Tonga have certainly held their own. Now then, swung away on that far side. This is better from Tonga. This guy can dance all he likes, Lilo. And it's coming back over to this right-hand side. And that was remarkable. Andrew Sheridan caught the ball and he couldn't believe it. The referee, though, said play on over the 10-metre line.
It's a ruck, 9!
Well, there was no ruck, it was open play. Sheridan was just got a long way behind it.
That was Tate. Just Josh Lucy it was who tried to just tap it on. Big tackle coming in on Danny Hipkiss. And Hipkiss, whose father Chris played for England under-16s quite a few years ago. He's certainly very proud to see his son playing here. Good little burst through though. Lee Mears. We've seen Lee Mears do that consistently over the last couple of years. Delalio. Good pickup by Gummersall. Tate back outside to Nick Easter. England not really making too much progress here. Josh Lucy brought to ground. Inside the 22 though. Nick Easter loses his footing there. Steve Borthwick couldn't quite get his hand to the ball.
No, it's a ruck.
Still England have possession.
Behind the ball, 15.
Johnny Wilkinson standing quite deep, goes for the drop goal. And the cheers will say yes or no, and it's a yes.
Well, it was a beautifully struck drop goal for Johnny Wilkinson. Again, he had plenty of people outside him. I'm surprised he didn't think about moving it, but great break here by Lee Mears. Fabulous tackle by Yunuki Afeaki.
I'll just doing my arithmetic at the moment. It was 9 points for Johnny Wilkinson in the first half. Another 8 here. He's only 4 points short now of the all-time Rugby World Cup record, of course held by Gavin Hastings. Chance for Peter Richards to strut his stuff here this evening in the Parc des Princes. Very talented all-round player is Richards. Plays for London Irish now. But
Time on.
he's played scrum half, he's played outside half for various English schools levels, and of course for the England 7 team. So also used to play outside of Johnny Wilkinson when they were both at school together.
Well, interestingly, I think he's replaced Mark Cueto.
Yeah, you're right. He certainly has. There's Wilkinson, who's known Peter Richards since they were at school, but that was almost a dangerous tackle on Steve Borthwick. The Tongan forward came thundering in to take him out. So just under 7 minutes to go. Convincing scoreline that England have currently. The chance now for Tonga to take it at the line out. Oh, well, they did it almost by default there. Just went straight through the arms of the jumper. So Tonga on the attack, and they're away. Tuifua on to Epelitaione. There's the captain, Nililatu, into England's 22. Advantage being played. Once again, it's Tuifua who gets his hands on the ball. The Tongan winger. Oh, referee almost getting dragged into that ruck. Oh, well, England almost coming away with it there, but the referee says no more. Halatipoli are still on the ground. It's a scrum down and Tonga to put in.
Well, they're coming back strong. Lovely inside pass, but again, it was a great break by Pierre Holer up the middle through the English midfield. And you know, although it's been a very comprehensive victory, and you have to say it's going to be a victory for England, they have looked a little bit vulnerable in the midfield.
Well, go on. I mean, let's assume that England do go through, which, judging from the scoreline, I think is pretty certain now. What about their game against Australia? That is going to be a whole new ball game and a whole different class of opposition.
Well, I think so. I mean, England really struggled against South Africa. They looked in a different class. I mean, I think they will take a lot of confidence from this match. They played a lot better. This has been their best performance, without a doubt, at this Rugby World Cup. But they're going to have to step up another gear if they're going to stand a chance against Australia.
Taione took the ball on there. And that's Tuifua trying to take the ball on even further, along with Havili. Peter Richards it was who made the tackle. Tonga now are only 5 meters short. Swung away this side. And the number 8 linking with his three-quarters. Epelitaione once more. He's had a very good game as the Tongan centre. Now, what can Tonga do here? The fullback is through. That was a last desperate tackle there on Fungakoto Lilo.
21! Advantage over the top.
Tonga still have possession.
No, over the top here. Over the
well,
top.
it would be great for them if they could finish with a flourish.
No, 5!
It certainly was a very good tackle by Josh Lucy on his opposite number. And surely they'll want to take this scrummage. Soani Havia, in fact, takes a short one onto Felice. The substitute scrum half onto Halatipoli. Andy Gamasul gets it away. Way down outside of his own 22. As we may well see another substitute, another World Cup winner, Joe Worsley.
Well, I don't think they were ever going to take a scrum. England have really dominated in the scrum. They've turned them, they made it very difficult for the scrum half and Fina Mako at the base.
Tonga.
So they had to take the quick one, but just, I think, fatigue,
England, stay out.
lack of control taking its toll on Tonga.
Come on, let's get our shot.
But they've been incredibly competitive.
Only 3 minutes to go. 23 points ahead, England are. So surely they've booked their place in the quarter-final. Long throw there. Inoki Afiaki it was who just managed to get the ball for Tonga. And certainly since the scrum half, Soani Havia came on, he certainly has made a bit of difference in terms of the quality of possession that Tonga are able to get. Still no way through for the Tongan team. And I thought England had stolen it there, but lost forward. Thrown forward by Tonga, scrum down, England ball.
Here we are.
There's the England squad captain, of course, Phil Vickery. And actually, that's a good point. I'm assuming because Lewis Moody has gone off that Vickery is now the captain on the pitch.
Yeah, I think with Martin Corey off the pitch and Vickery on it, he's pretty certain that Vickery will be calling the shots there.
Stay on!
Lawrence Delalio just controlling it, just losing control in fact. And that let Inoki Afiaki, Soani Havia come through. He's just wearing number 20 on his back. So team management there, and Kudus Faialia must be a little bit concerned, but nevertheless, whatever happens here today, Tonga have made a huge number of new fans in France and have acquitted themselves really well with 2 previous victories.
Well, when you consider that they conceded over 100 points at Twickenham in 1999, you know, it's just an indicator of how much further forward Tongan rugby has come over that 8-year period. And you know, that's what I think this World Cup's about. A lot of the minnows have performed extremely well and, you know, have earned their place at the top table, without a doubt.
Fina Maka. This is a last desperate attempt to get something on the board. Nililatu there. Little dummy. This should be a try. Well, Halitipoli there sliding into the corner. And the referee will certainly take time out on this one. And I think Halitipoli may have well misjudged that.
If a try's been scored or not, please?
Well, I don't know. It was interesting. I think the winger should really have come inside. Oh, that's a try, I think. It's on the line before he hits the post. The line is the try line. Interesting. I thought Havili should have come inside because there's no one home. I guess the question is, was he in touch?
I'm not sure. I'm still not sure, having seen those 2-3 replays. And I think the television official will have just as much difficulty.
I think that's definitely a try. For me, it's much more certain that that is a try than Paul Saki's try. He slides over, he's got the momentum. I think it's Wilkinson who's over the top.
Well, the crowd are seeing exactly the same replays as we are. And they are saying yes.
Yes, Mark.
But will the television official say yes?
Okay.
There it is one more time, and looks pretty good.
He's definitely in play, there's no doubt about that. Piahola's confident, he's teeing up the ball already.
Mark. I can confirm.
Absolutely right. Mr. Alan Rowland there. It's the try.
Time on, time on.
And that is Halitipoli's first World Cup try in the last minute of their World Cup campaign for 2007. Piahola wasting no time at all. Just curls that one round. Oh yes, what a great way to finish. Bang on, 79.5 minutes. We now have a scoreline of 36-20. So Tonga, after promising so much, will get the last score of this game. And you can't deny them it one little bit.
No, I think possibly fitting that they have the last word. I think it's been a fairly comprehensive victory by England, but you know, fitting that Tonga have competed so well. They've won so many friends in France with this Rugby World Cup, and they certainly deserve that try.
Well, the next time there is a breakdown, it will be the end of the game, and Tonga will be on their way home. and England will go through to the quarter-finals to face Australia. Little chip forward. Oh, almost caught Josh Lucy off guard. Gummersall puts it out into touch. Doesn't receive the kindest reception from the crowd, but Andy Gummersall knew it was the end of the game. So there we have it. England are through to the quarter-finals after a very slow start to this World Cup campaign. They've won at the Parc des Princes tonight, beating Tonga by 36 points to 20. Johnny Wilkinson, certainly one of the men of the match here this evening, and no doubt about the fact as to who all of those young people had come to see tonight. And we understand, David Sowell, that the man of the match here this evening was the two-try scorer from the first half, and that was England's Paul Saki.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. He looked threatening. He looked the one back who could finish things off, and obviously came up with the two tries, which set England on their way, really. But you look at the Tongans coming together. It's been a tremendous sort of family spirit in the Tongan camp, and
well, let's just pause for a minute while they say their final prayer of Rugby World Cup 2007. Congratulations to England. There is the man of the match, was Paul Saki. And certainly we read a lot about the Tongan team coming here underprepared, underfunded, and they've proved everybody wrong in a way, haven't they?
Well, they have. And they were very competitive a lot of the first half against England, but the interception try by Paul Saki off the Tongan error really gave England the initiative. It gave them the momentum, and England, once they had that, their confidence grew as time went on, and they began to play some very good, attractive rugby in that second half. And I think Tonga tired. They'd given it all, and no one could fault their commitment, and it was just too much for them.
Well, certainly, as we've been suggesting throughout the evening, there will be a different class of opposition next time. It was knockout rugby here tonight, because whoever won it went through to the quarter-final, whoever lost it didn't. But when you face one of the strongest teams in the world in Australia in the quarter-final, that will be a true test for any team. There's the winning coach, Brian Ashton, congratulating the Tongans. And Tonga will actually receive a medal here this evening in recognition of their participation in Rugby World Cup 2007. Well, that man has been there and done it before. Lawrence Dallaglio, of course.
Nili Latu, you gave the world champions a good run for their money with a very courageous and competitive performance tonight. Can you give us a few words about this match?
Today was a very hard game today. What can you say? The world champions. They show they started off slow in the competition. I think they're heading the strap in the right time. We couldn't stick in there. We had a good start. We seemed like we let off for 20 minutes and they came back. It shows good teams. You just can't afford to give in. Inch and to Johnny and the England team. We wish them all the best. I guess we're going to go away from here proud. We didn't think we were going to go this far, but I'd like to thank the boys from the bottom of my heart. They dig in, and it's been a great tournament. And just to finish off, our supporters back home. Sorry we couldn't do it for you, but we'll see you guys back home. God bless. I'd like to say hi to my kids. Love you, and I'll be home soon now. Thank you.
Millie, thank you very much, and thank you very much for thrilling, the world of rugby, and have a safe journey back home.
Thank you very much.
Well, we certainly